G'day guys, it's Scott Alexander King here from Animal Dreaming, and I'm just wondering, have you ever thought about the Easter Bunny? Like, where did that story come from? How is it that a whole celebratory time of the year can centre around a rabbit that supposedly carries eggs and gives eggs to children? Obviously, how did that happen when Easter's got a much bigger significance for Christians, and you know, it just blows my mind sometimes to think about how these other stories manifest. Well, the rabbit, according to my understanding, was technically a hare. Originally, the original Easter Bunny, the first rabbit, inverted commas, that gave a rise to the whole concept of the Easter Bunny was probably a hare. And the reason why I say that is because hares don't live underground like rabbits do. Rabbits live underground, hares don't. And hares raise their young in a little nest that they might create under a bush, or you know, under a tree, or like a low growing tree that offers protection. They create a little nest, little hollow in the ground, and they align it with the fur that they pull from their belly, and it's into that nest that they give birth to their babies. Now hares, unlike rabbits, rabbits are born with their eyes sealed shut, and they develop, a lot of their development, takes place out of the womb, whereas with the hare, they're born with their eyes open. They're nothing like rabbits. They're not even related to rabbits as far as I know. They're totally different species, but the baby hares are born with their eyes wide open, and they're quite active, so they don't last very long in the nest. They start to move around quite quickly. Now when they've discarded the nest, when they leave the nest, they don't come back. So there's this bird, the plover, which is quite a lazy bird. It's not really lazy, but it doesn't build a nest at all. It just lays its eggs on the ground and will sit on them, often in the same spot every year, but they don't build a nest of any kind. They just lay their eggs directly on the ground. But if they come across a discarded hare nest, they'll take advantage of it. They'll lay their eggs in that. So of course, in the early days, when someone stumbled across a hare's nest and there were these eggs in it, that obviously would have raised, you know, eyebrows, because hares don't lay eggs, or so we thought. And I believe that's the origin of the Easter Bunny, because the connection to the moon, the hare, connection to the lunar cycles, fertility, abundance. The egg is a symbol of new life. It's a symbol of rebirth, because when the egg is laid, there's no life that we can see with our eyes. There's life inside the egg, sure, but we can't see it. So it's like the egg is given birth to first, and it's from the egg that the offspring pops out. The fledgling, or the hatchling pops out of the egg, whether it be a baby turtle, baby crocodile, baby snake, or baby bird, doesn't matter, they're all hatchlings. And so the story is that this creature is born twice. It's born into the egg, and then it's born into the physical world. So there's this definite sense of rebirth. Lots of old stories about how the eggs were then decorated and hung in temples and tombs and all sorts of things associated with the life after death, new beginnings, new opportunity, and this belief system has grown. But I think the whole Easter Bunny thing started from the hare, an innocent hare, discarding its nest and having a plover lay its eggs in its nest. I'm fascinated by such things like belief systems centered around, you know, myths and legends and all sorts of. I love to know where these stories spring from, and I recently discovered that, or at least recently learned that, to really understand the pain that Jesus would have felt when he was being crucified, the people of Sweden apparently used to beat each other with sticks as a way of demonstrating and suffering, I guess, the pain that they witnessed Jesus encountering and experiencing. And over time, that tradition moved from beating each other with sticks to decorating sticks, like bunches, like a branch, like a branch, decorating the branch with coloured feathers and streamers and painted eggs, and decorating their homes with such things like a Christmas tree, but an Easter tree made out of feathers. I just think that's wonderful, and I love the fact that it springs from an actual practice. And what I also love with the Swedish people is they have Easter witches. Instead of Easter bunnies, they have Easter witches, which I love, and that goes back to when there was a belief that on the Thursday, I think it was leading up to Easter, the belief that witches would fly to this particular mountain and cavort with the devil, and on their way home they would fly over the homes, and to protect themselves from the witches, the people would light big bonfires. Now, to this day, the kids dress up as witches. I just love that. I just think that is fantastic. So I just wanted to sort of have a bit of a chat about Easter, just have a bit of a chat about these belief systems and why we... I guess the whole point is I don't want you to dismiss these children's stories like the Easter Bunny and Santa Claus, because there's truth in them, and if we just dig far enough in, we'll find the answers to these questions, and I just love that. I have a curious mind, I love to investigate, so just thought I would share some of these ponderings with you and to see what you thought, and just to wish you a happy Easter. Have a great holiday, and I hope you get to spend it with family, and I hope you get to spend it with love and laughter, and if you don't, just know that we're thinking of you. Happy Easter everyone, and stay safe.